So why I love dogs better than I love cats. So if, let's say you had a heart attack, or I had a heart attack and I died in my apartment, or you died in your house or whatever, right? If you owned a cat and you died in your house, it would only take your cat maybe a day or two before it started eating your carcass. Dogs, it would take the majority of the time. Granted, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not a freaking scientist or whatever. I'm just going off of things that I've heard. But dogs will not eat you until they are starving to death. Whereas cats will eat you as a meal within a couple days after you die. So Genghis Khan wasn't only a conqueror. Once he conquered a village or he conquered a city, he actually would bring in education, supposedly. You know, I'm only going off of my memory of what I've learned. But he would also bring in education, he would bring in trade, and he would make things better for the cities that he had conquered. Instead of just enslaving the population.
Right.
And, you know, destroying, you know, monuments and things of what was come to pass. So about reincarnation, right? So like there's a theory that like souls, and so in order to be a human being, you need a soul, right? Because let's say your body keeps on leaving, but your soul leaves your body.
Right.
You're just a vegetable. You're just a human husk. What really makes a human? It's a soul, right?
I guess.
Without, you know, a proverbial soul, you're just an empty husk.
What about a demon? If a demon has a soul, how do we know?
Are demons real?
In the theory that demons are real, do they have a theory about a
I mean,
soul?
if God's real, the devil has to be real. And that also brings about the fact where the government, you know, believes in Christ and puts God in schools. What makes, you know, why is it a common belief that, you know, exorcisms and devils and demons aren't real?
I believe that, man. That's totally true.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good.
You'd be a great lawyer, like I'm saying,
question.
dude. You missed your calling as a lawyer, as some sort of legal representative. You should just go to law school.
Maybe.
Can you go to law school?
I don't think I'm smart enough.
I know you're smart enough. You need is there a bachelor's degree required? Or do you know?
I would probably assume so. You've got to have some sort of.
I think there's a bachelor's degree, and then you actually have to go to law school, which is another. It's kind of like being a doctor.
Yeah.
Mom's trying to go to law school.
Yeah, I know. I think you should do it, Kenny.
What are you doing?
Why not? What do you got holding you back? What do you got to lose?
You got a wife?
Nope.
You got kids?
I got a dog.
A dog, wow.
It's gonna die in a few years, don't worry.
Listen, you piece of shit.
Hey, look, here, bud. You're wasting your life away.
Nah, that's punishment. So, Lucas, give it to me. Give it to me straight. Where do you fall politically?
Where do I fall politically? I think it's all a fucking scam. It's the biggest scam in the fucking world.
That's a good answer, right?
I would say that's a good answer.
That's the best answer you can give.
If you had a choice to go between someone who's definitely gonna fuck you in the ass and someone who might fuck you in the ass, but you really couldn't tell who you're voting for, who would you vote for?
I'm gonna tell you what I've always done, man. Not vote.
Wow, this is like the first person I know to willingly admit this on camera. Go ahead, Luke. Tell them why you don't vote.
I don't vote because it don't mean a goddamn thing. We lose anyway. All matters.
And you know what? I hate to say it, but I respect that opinion. I personally vote third party, and that's just usually where I line. I know Kenny's his own man.
You know, I'm
not putting this in the
30. I'm 30 going on 31. I have never voted either.
You never voted
I've
either.
never voted, dude.
For real.
I've never found that any candidate was good enough, in my opinion, that I felt like I needed to vote for that person. Now, when Trump was running, I figured, maybe that was a good time to vote.
I'm gonna
And I wasn't gonna vote for Trump. I honestly was gonna vote for a third party person. But with the current state of things, I think this next voting period, I think I'm actually gonna vote.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and tell you guys right now. As a voter, when someone else who's complaining tells me something, I usually just say, your opinion doesn't matter, you don't vote.
Right. I mean, that's understandable. That's your perspective and your opinion.
Right.
But, I mean,
Your opinion thought mattered
Just-
in it, didn't it?
Well, it's the power behind the opinion, right?
right. I mean, it's all a matter of perspective.
Maybe it's the
I mean,
feeling behind the
perspective
power.
is in the eye of the beholder. Like, everybody's opinion is different. Everybody sees things different. Just because, let's say, I'm your hero in your book doesn't mean I'm not the hero in somebody else's book.
Villain.
I could be the enemy. I could be the
Villain.
villain.
You could be anything you want to be in their book.
I could be how I see you, how Lucas
So
sees
this
you.
is getting into advertisement right here, right?
Advertising.
Just because you're the hero in
This
my
is how
story
the
doesn't mean
the
I'm not
artist
the
wants to
villain in
paint their
somebody
hero
else's.
to where the majority sees the hero, but there's the few that sees the villain. Like in the Avengers, right? The main bad guy, Thanos. He, in reality, there are people who think, man, he's not wrong. We're overpopulated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they see him as kind of a victor.
Right.
And I think that's why they did the 2-part episode, because the first time he did win. Second time they went back. They had to go back in time to change
Right.
it. You know?
No. I'm fired, bud. I make better money elsewhere. He doesn't.
In the words of the famous Donald Trump, you fired.
You fired, dude. I can't believe that. You know how
I thought
many
the
people
famous
were
word
so
by Donald Trump was "grab her by the pussy."
Yeah, that's also famous. Very.
Yeah.
Famous. He has so many more famous words. But I do believe that.
Get lost, kid.
Let's go ahead and dissect some of Donald Trump's famous words, because that would be great on camera.
Get lost, kid.
So, like, I think you're fired. That was such a big deal during the election that became more prominent. But there's a series called
Why doesn't the
Legit.
president have the authority to fire the Senate?
Legit, I think is what the series is called, where they have this midget just running around with like a Donald Trump suit on, going, "You're fired," and it is the best line ever. And I thought it was great before, like it was like 2011, like long
Oh, was
before
it?
he ever even ran. He just like slowly mentioned, "Oh, I might run after Obama won." And then he questioned the birth certificate thing, and it was a whole debacle, and he was just making himself look terrible, and everyone's like, "There's no way he's winning." Like,
Yeah, there was a lot of people I remember that was like,
no.
Donald Trump can't win. He's not a politician.
Dude, that's what everybody said on Facebook and shit, though. But then, like,
Dude, I'm gonna be real. Like, it was just a notch on his belt for him. Like,
that's all it was to him.
no, that's
a
all
trophy.
it was. It was a
Trophy.
trophy. Like, he's like, I've been everything in the world. He's bored. I bet I could do this too.
It's
And
because
he did it.
everybody.
He did it because he knew he could. And then that last
everybody
election,
said he could.
that election year, he knew he could do better. And I know he knew he could do better, but he just didn't. He didn't do it because he didn't care anymore.
He
It was
won.
a lot of work. He won,
Yeah.
and he just wanted to show he's a winner.
He won because of his generation. His whole generation talked about him becoming president one day.
Right.
Whole generation.
Yeah.
People sang about it. People wrote about it. People commented
There's a lot
about
of
it. They've
evidence to this,
interviewed
too.
about him. They've talked to him. When are you going to run for presidency? Like they've
Right.
asked him these questions his entire career, being a billionaire. And then finally he's just like, I'll do it. Why not?
Yeah.
I got the money. I can afford it. I don't need support
He
from
could,
anybody.
he could definitely afford it. I don't know how much
He
truth
did
is
it on his own. He didn't
I
have
don't know how
support
much
of the
truth
Republican
is
Party.
in the fact that he didn't take a paycheck, but supposedly he
He-
only took $1 a year.
He bought the Republican Party is what he did. He bought them to support him so he could.
Not all of them did it though. Like if
Well,
you,
you know what?
No, they were
back
all
in the day, he
against
was
it.
Democrat.
yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And you know, he has a video saying he would have run as a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
But he did a lot of Republican things in office.
Yeah,
His
he
whole
did.
life, really.
Like
Yeah.
literally everything he did was Republican related. I mean,
But if you go all the way back in time, though, when the two
minus the
parties
border,
created,
I don't know how to put the border.
they
That was
switched.
the border to me. Like I still can't wrap my head around. Like it's like you're sitting, you're serious. Like you think this will stop people? And
It's hard for me to comprehend only because my grandmother's Mexican.
dude, I don't think it's that, dude. Like you can swim
Well,
around it. There are waters on both
right,
sides.
right.
Like
Well, that's how most of the Cubans got to America.
what
was
about
from
airplanes?
Cuba
Like
and Florida.
I get the whole like you'll shoot
came
your
on
airplane down, but if you
wooden
can,
rafts.
if you know how to fly an
They
airplane
didn't.
low,
They didn't
slow,
shoot airplanes down.
they will definitely get across that border.
Who?
Anyone in an airplane.
Mexicans, Cubans, Puerto Ricans.
Dude, like I'm not trying
African,
to I'm not
Chinese,
trying to be mean
Japanese.
here and saying this, but like that's the one thing like I always see both sides of things. I cannot see both sides in this one particular thing, but I'm pretty sure that's a particular thing that got him elected. You know?
What particular thing?
Like you went over that border, you're gonna get over that border. So who needs punished tonight? I think since there's three of us, we're gonna kind of vote on it a little bit, but it's really only between you two.
Why?
Punished.
For what?
Talking politics,
You
of
gonna
course.
spank me, dude?
I'm not talking politics at all.
You talk the worst politics. You